7 Days to Die is currently not in a good state. My name is Jalebi, welcome to my new video, and let's talk about 7 Days to Die. For those of you who don't know, 7 Days to Die is an open world survival horror game that combines first-person shooting, tower defense, RPG mechanics and crafting. You're thrown into a post-apocalyptic world, overrun by zombies, and your main goal is simple: survive. Here you can gather resources, build bases, fend off the undead hordes, and every 7 days prepare for a massive blood moon horde that will try to destroy everything you built so far. It's a game that gives players a lot of freedom. At least, that's what it used to feel like. Because, while 7 Days to Die has some amazing mechanics and potential, the direction the developers have taken in recent years, well, it's been frustrating to say the least. One of the things that the developers did when they noticed players were making underground bases was to give zombies the ability to dig down to you, just to prevent players from building underground bases in the future.
We like to support as much play styles and freedom as possible, keeping the sand in the sandbox. However, sometimes we need to change or limit some features so the majority of the play styles are not hindered by supporting that particular play style, or there's an exploit like, oh, I don't like it when zombies dig underground. Well, we don't like exploits in our survival game, so we're going to close loopholes.
So let me get this straight. You added digging to the game, a sandbox mechanic, and then when player used it to make a base, it became an exploit. What a fucking joke. They also tweaked zombie behavior around so-called exploit bases, so zombies would start targeting the weakest structural points just to nerf those bases too. Yeah guys, this is a sandbox game, where you're supposed to build whatever base you imagine, and if you get creative and build a zombie-proof one, the developers will reward you by nerfing it to the ground. But hey, let's look at the actual definition of a sandbox game. A sandbox game is a video game that emphasizes player freedom and creativity, often without strict objectives or a linear narrative. Players have significant control over the game world and can explore, interact with, and modify it using various tools and mechanics, often leading to emergent gameplay. So how the hell is 7 Days to Die a sandbox game when the developers are constantly telling the players how the game should be played and keep changing features to push their idea of gameplay over the players? That's not even close to a fucking sandbox. And yeah, the fun pimps are well known for removing a lot of cool and fun features just because they're immersion breaking or too convenient for the player. One of the most ridiculous removals in my opinion was empty jars. Back in the day when you found murky water, you could boil it into clean water, and after drinking it, you kept the empty jar. You could then take that jar to a nearby lake or snow pile to refill it and boil it again. But apparently the developers decided that was too easy, so they nerfed real-life ways to get water. Now when you drink water, the jar disappears because the player just eats the whole jar instead of drinking it. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if the next update says, let's force players to rely on airdrops for all their food and remove food from the game. Or hey, let's go even further. Breathing is too easy. Here's a jar. Go climb that mountain to collect some fresh air and bring it back because you'll suffocate. Yeah, that's the fun pimps, everybody. More like fun destroying pimps. I actually went on Reddit to double check when this empty jar removal happened, and I couldn't find a single positive comment in the whole thread. And now we have dew collectors, which are supposed to be the new main water source. But wait, the developers don't like that players can just place a bunch of them. So now they emit heat, which attracts zombies. A big fuck you to the players. Imagine if Mojang saw all the incredible creative auto farms Minecraft players made, and then decided to nerf them all, saying, the game's too easy that way, we want to encourage exploration more. Go manually harvest sugarcane across the world. And also, oh, you want to start a fresh game and go for the build you want? Well, fuck you. Here's a bunch of magazines. Now go spend hours searching for the ones you actually need for a build. Back in the day, the skill system was activity based. If you use bow and arrow, you leveled up archery. Simple, logical, immersive. Now, skills are leveled up by finding magazines that are scattered randomly all over the map. So instead of sitting down, thinking through your build, and just starting the game, now you waste time running around looting, hoping RNG blesses you with the right magazine. But hey, that's still not the last fuck you to the players. You want to explore new biomes? Well, fuck you. Enjoy environmental hazards in every biome that block you from exploring them unless you meet a specific condition first. And let's have a loot cap on top of that. And you think, okay, well, they're getting serious. No more immersion breaking stuff in the future, right? We'll probably get gas masks, hazmat suits, some actual survival gear to handle radiation and extreme cold, right? Well, no. Drink a fucking smoothie and you're immune to radiation and frostbite. Hell yeah. But it gets even better. To get full immunity to a biome, you need a badge. A fucking badge. You get this badge by completing quests in the related biome. And to get to the next badge, you need a previous one, meaning you have to go through their order, not the order you want. Yeah guys, sandbox game by the way. It's like putting a fish in a closed aquarium and then dropping that aquarium into the ocean. I think that's how most 7 Days to Die players feel like now. Because why would we need unique and creative mechanics that were fun and worked, that were removed for no reason, when we can have magical smoothies and badges that negate radiation and frostbite? I mean, just think how absurd that is. Oh, you can't go to Chernobyl because it's radioactive. Just throw on your magic radiation badge and head in without a care in the world because that magic badge will save you. And why would we need interesting zombie designs that break immersion, like zombie cowboy or zombie football player, when we can have a plague spitter that looks like it was made by AI spitting bugs at you, or a frostclaw zombie which is literally a zombie yeti that throws rocks? Not immersion breaking at all, right? And the developers have already mentioned reworking those zombies, like turning the frostclaw into a badass lumberjack, and they promised more reworks are coming. But my question is, why didn't you make him humanoid in the first place? I mean, the update just came out and you're already spending time reworking bad decisions instead of making new content for the next update, which you're already far too late for. I mean, just look at this fucking roadmap. I don't even have to say anything else. You used to be able to dye your armor however you wanted. Now, after the armor rework, you can still change your armor's appearance, but you have to pay $10 per armor set. So no wonder the updates are getting delayed when you're wasting time on paid cosmetics and fixing crap from the previous updates. But hey, to be fair, not every rework was bad. POIs got reworked too in the past, and the way they function now is actually really cool. The first time I experienced the new POI dungeon system, I was blown away. Some of the newly reworked models also look better and are more detailed. But the fact is that the game is currently in a bad state. Since the official release, they doubled the price to $44, but they also doubled the mess. The players are tired of hearing empty promises, and they're done waiting until there's a massive backlash just to be heard. There's a reason why the majority of players still say Alpha this or Alpha that was the best version of the game. And that's worrying for a game that's been in development for 10 years. That an alpha version is still the fan favorite. The fan pimps need to realize that all this backlash isn't because the players hate the studio. It's because they care about what 7 Days to Die is turning into. Because if this keeps up, the game's name won't be 7 Days to Die. It will be 7 months to die, but literally because the game has already dig its own grave and is preparing to jump anytime now. That's all from me today. Have a good day everyone, and take care.